So, shall we continue with this? So this database, as I've said, will enable me to create extensive debating sequences on every topic I want. Any little thing or any big thing at all, even just within my life personally. And it means you can take a statement, you can just list every single bit of support or rebuttal that is known, findable by anyone, however loathsome or evil or however brilliant. Just look for everything. It doesn't matter, you can establish truth across the spectrum. So these are the fields so far that I've planned. Entry URL references. Not just the references, I explain that's like maybe a book title, or even for a URL, the article title and such. Paraphrase title. Here we're missing something. Okay. Yeah. Entry date. Entry time. Keep them separate. Okay, how about this? Entry author. That's whoever actually entered it into the database, so me, primarily, that would be a tough one, but it's got to be done. I mean, it's not that tough. Well, getting down Pirsig's ideas would be easy enough, but then I suppose going around and seeing all the different ways in which our societies try to, have this opposing view of the stuff that some of the stuff he says, and I think that opposing view is wrong, and he goes quite some way towards pointing the way towards why they get it wrong. So it'd be easy enough for me to go and get the evidence based upon his claims of what it is that causes people to pretend that what you personally like is by default not a good thing. You need to listen to what other people tell you to want. It's about authority and control, and that's what Pirsig was writing about. And they lobotomized him. He wrote Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance. You may have heard that if you're over 40, heard of that, but I bet you probably haven't read it. And if you want to try and bet me I haven't, well then you're going to lose that bet. Obviously, I've just described to you what the fuck's in it, you moron. Are you that stupid? Weren't you listening a second ago? No, of course not. Anyway, so yeah. So, what else? Good tune though, isn't it? Religions are sort of views on militant atheists. Anyway, the topic's really unimportant. There are actually very large numbers of very specific things. These are just some general ideas. I mean, anyway, I've got another one to add here, which is very crucial, but I'll do that later. I made a note somewhere else of it, so I won't lose it. But right now, I'm more interested in making sure we've got this database that you covered, alright? How's this looking? There we go. Okay. Paraphrase, title, entry ID of 0 in this sequence. So if this is the 0 ID
Get ahead on your gifting with
later on, get ahead on your gifting. Oh dear. Numerical ID within sequence. Initial statement in a sequence is 0. Each subsequent entry in the sequence is +1, whether response or sub-response, support or rebuttal. It's just a sequence of numbers. Okay, and so when you go back up to here at the top, we've got the entry ID. And it says entry ID of 0 in this sequence. So whichever one is 0, it has the ID of 0 for that sequence. That's the entry ID that you put in. So if the entry ID is, say, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then there's loads of them which are all in that sequence, and it's the 0, then in this reference, the entry ID of 0 in this sequence, you're going to have the 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So the entry ID is 1, 2, 3, 4, and the entry ID of 0 in this sequence is 1, 2, 3, 4. In other words, it's saying this is the 0 of this sequence. And that concurs. Okay, and then hierarchical statement. So it's a statement. It starts off as a statement. If it's a response, then it's sequence ID is no. So if it's a statement, it's going to be ID 0. It's numerical ID within the sequence will be 0. It'll be a statement. If it's anything above 0, then it's going to be first it's going to either be a response or a sub-response. And whatever type of sub-response or whatever type of statement it is, if it's not a statement, whatever type, whether it's a response or a sub-response, whatever type of corresponding statement it is, it may be either support or rebuttal. And that was a very important nuance. Response type is in relation to the statement with ID 0. So they're all supporting ID 0. So, yeah. Okay. Each subsequent entry in the sequence is +1 on whether response or sub-response, support or rebuttal, entry date, entry time, entry author. Okay, what else could there be? Well, let's see. Okay, well, here we have a problem. We have to replicate the crucial component of the previous system. And that's the difficult bit. So I don't know if I should get on to that next. Well, let's start. Let's put the words in and then finish this video so you can see it and then I'll think it through. But basically, you have. Okay. Version of entry, a number. So it should be 0. Okay. So this is where we have to decide how I'm going to structure the housing of the previous versions. So as each amendment is made, where do we keep the previous copy? So it'll be, it's taken away. We've edited the entry, so the previous entry has been changed. And then what about other fields that may have been changed? Well, only some of them could be changed. The paraphrase, So that's an interesting question. So I'm going to stop the video because I can't answer that in a split second. I'm going to have to digest this. That is quite like that. Yeah, that is a definite field. Version of entry. Which version of the entry is it? Is it 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 15, 20, 25, 50, 100? I've had them. When I built the original grid, there were many, many versions of points as I improved and sharpened stuff that I wrote down or updated it or, in some way adjusted it after initially writing it. And that's the point, it's called development, which is what you're looking at. So, version of entry. So the next thing to consider is how best. What is, at this point, we're trying to build the fattest database, and we don't want it all kind of crazy. If you've got 100 Jesus H. Let's put brackets here. Lots of little files with previous versions as before. Don't know. Just to indicate, I don't really know if that's what I want to do. Let's play that. I don't know if I have on this computer a copy of any previous grid, but there'd be 1.63.1, 1.63.2, 1.63.3, and there'd be a folder in which they were all there, all at one point, this point, that, all of them in one folder. And 1.63.3 and 1.63.2 were the different points. And it had the date and timestamp of when they were written, each one. So that would be an efficient way to handle it. So maybe we could work that into it. I don't know, but that's enough work on that.